Hello YouTube makeup lovers, so I am here today with a first impression video on a new foundation that I just recently purchased, and that is the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. The shade I got is light beige, and this is an oil-free foundation. It says here is undetectable, medium to full coverage foundation. It also says it is infused with coconut water, alpine rose, and hyaluronic acid. So the coconut water is pretty much to replenish the skin's moisture levels. Alpine rose is to brighten skin's appearance and promote elasticity, and the hyaluronic acid is for smoother, more youthful appearance. The foundation, I purchased it at Sephora. It has 12 shades and I picked the light beige like I said. This is what the packaging of the foundation looks like. It's really pretty. It has like the TF Too Faced logo right up here, and the cap has kind of like the little decor that like the cocoa powder palette has, like this, you know, like that little surrounding on the outer part of the powder. It looks like that, so it's really pretty. The glass, it's like a frosted glass, and it has a pump, which is amazing. Every foundation should have a pump, or just have some easy way to apply the foundation and pour it, not just like a big fat hole in the middle. So I love that. And the writing is in gold for the foundation, so it's really nice. And in the back it says the skin you were born to have, and then on the bottom it does have the shade of the foundation. So pretty much it's supposed to be a foundation where you know, your skin just looks natural. You have full coverage, or not full coverage, but you have a nice amount of coverage. Here it says medium to full, but that at the same time it looks natural, so it looks like it was a skin that you were born with. So it kind of like covers the imperfections, but it doesn't look like you're wearing a ton of makeup. So I really like that about the foundation. The cost of the foundation is $39, and it does bring 1 ounce, which is the normal amount that a foundation usually brings. And what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna share with you guys, like I usually do the first impressions, I'm gonna share with you guys how I applied it, and then I'm gonna check in back with you guys throughout the day just so that you see how the foundation is acting up. And of course, as I apply it, I will give you the thoughts that I have of the foundation while I am applying it. Also important for you guys to know that I have dry skin, so that's always important for me to tell you guys when I am doing a foundation first impression. So let's get started with the testing of the foundation. So you know, I have already applied the Caudalie Beauty Elixir. I just did a couple spritz of this on my face, and over that I did already moisturize with my Fresh Rose Hydrating Gel Cream, because for any foundation to look flawless, your skin must be moisturized. And now I'm going to apply the Born This Way foundation and test it out. The way I'm going to do it is that I'm going to apply, that is 1 pump. So let's start with 1 pump, and I'm just going to dot it all over my face. To blend in the foundation, I'm going to use my Urban Decay Optical Blurring Brush. My bracelets are making a really annoying noise. So sorry, let me take them off. I don't want the whole video to be hearing that. This actually blended in really fast and really well, but I did put very little. So this just covers, like, I do feel that my skin tone has been a little bit more evened out, but I could still use a little bit more coverage. But it did blend in very nicely and easily using the brush. Now I'm going to go ahead and put another pump onto my hand, and I'm going to dab it some more. It is layering very nicely. It doesn't look like if I'm wearing a lot of foundation, yet the coverage has improved a lot. Oh, and I completely forgot to mention earlier that I did apply some primer, and I use the Pore-Fessional. I had already done that when I did my moisturizing and when I put the Caudalie Elixir, and I just forgot to mention it. Well, this just like blended in nicely. I also feel like it's really sinking into my skin. Like a lot of times there's foundations that when you apply them, your skin kind of feels wet, and although it does feel a little sticky, I do feel like it is drying really, really fast. So I am definitely liking the way the foundation looks. I would say that this foundation gives a great medium coverage, built up real nicely, blended in very nicely. It's a foundation that you can apply with a brush, with a sponge, even with your fingers, and I feel like it would work great. As far as the way it looks, I feel like it is a little dewy. Like I do feel that my skin looks luminous, and it's a little dewy, but not too much. It actually looks, some parts, at first I was like, is this like a light matte type foundation? But it's not. It's not matte, and it's not completely dewy. So I feel like it's a little bit in the middle. Definitely I do have lots of foundations that are very dewy, and I love it because I have dry skin. Those foundations do kind of work for me, and this one is not as dewy as maybe those are, but it's also not like a flat matte foundation, so I do like that about it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply the rest of the makeup to my skin, and I will be right back. So the makeup on my face is all done, and right now it is 3:52 p.m. and I'm going to go out and I have to do some errands, but I will make sure to come back and check in with you guys a little bit later. I also want to tell you what I applied on the rest of my face. I did use the Matte Mineralized Skin Finish Natural. I use a shade medium. I did feel that if I didn't powder, I could have totally gone away with it because I felt like my skin just looked so good. It didn't look too dewy, which is something that I like about this foundation, because sometimes I do want to look dewy. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love foundations that are dewy, and this one is luminous but without being completely dewy, that I didn't even feel like I had to apply powder, but I did anyway. I did just very little. I pretty much just grabbed my brush. This is a Luxie Beauty large powder brush, and I pretty much just tapped it twice, and then that I just applied all over my face. So it was a very light dusting of powder, but like I said, I probably could have gotten away with not even doing that. I did apply my NARS bronzer in Laguna. The blush I have is the It Cosmetics CC Radiance Ombre blush. This is the one that I have on today. And for lipstick, I applied the Urban Decay lipstick in Naked, which is this one right here. That's the lipstick I have on my lips right now. And over that, I applied the gloss in Liar. So that's what I have on my lips. I just wanted to say, because a lot of times I get asked what color I have on my lips, and it's probably like months after I've done the video, and then I don't even remember. Oh, and something that I did use as well, I used the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in the shade Champagne Pop. So I used this on my skin today. That's why I have the highlight here, and down the center of my nose. So like I said, I'm gonna go do a couple errands, and I will be right back and checking back with you guys a little bit later. Bye. So I am back, and it's currently 6:47 p.m. I'm gonna check in with you guys just so you see how the foundation has been holding up. So far, I think that the foundation is pretty intact. My blush and my highlight are intact, and I really love the way that it is looking. I have noticed that the foundation has gotten darker, so it does oxidize. That being said, now that I know that it gets a little bit darker, I'm wondering if maybe I should have gotten the color that was a little lighter, which was the warm nude. I got the light beige, and there was a color warm nude that I was in between these two colors, but then when I applied the warm nude on a part of my face, I felt like it was a little light and it looked a little ashy on me, so which is why I went for the light beige. Also, I'm a little tanner than I normally am, So I don't know, maybe that's why I ended up picking the light beige instead of the warm nude, but I feel that, I don't know, maybe I'll have to go test it out again and see. But I do notice that the foundation has gotten a little bit darker because it does oxidize a lot. But other than that, like, I like it. I kind of like the way that it looks. I look like I am a little tan, and I just look a little, I guess my skin doesn't look as white as it would normally look. But that is definitely one thing that I have noticed about this foundation. Another thing that I forgot to mention earlier, that the foundation does not have SPF. So it is very important that you put on some sunscreen to protect your skin if you're going to be going out during the daytime and you want to wear this foundation. But so far so good. Love the way the foundation feels. I like that it covers a lot, yet it doesn't feel like I'm wearing a ton of makeup on. And that's pretty much what the foundation is supposed to be. You're supposed to feel like you were just born this way with this perfect skin. You're not supposed to feel like you're wearing all this makeup. So that, it definitely achieves that, because I feel like this covered a lot, yet I don't feel cakey, I don't feel sticky. My skin just feels really great. So I will check back in with you guys a little bit later and give you my final thoughts on the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. See you soon. So I am back, and it is right now 12:14 in the morning. I have had on this foundation for a little bit over 8 hours, and I have to say that I am extremely impressed with how this foundation has held up. It's funny because it doesn't even, you know, they don't really market it as being like a long lasting foundation, but I mean, I've already had it on for over 8 hours, and to me, it still looks really, really flawless. I still have a lot of blush. I still have my highlight. The only places that I have noticed that the foundation is settling in is on the sides of the nose. That usually happens to me with most foundations. Like when I get home from work, I always notice that. So this is the same thing. I do see it settling in, and maybe there's a slight little shine on my chin. So like if I were to touch up makeup, usually it's the chin that I want to touch up, or maybe like the nose. Basically, you know, it's a T-zone that everybody has to touch up on. But this area here, I do see it a little bit shiny, but like not that much. It's like not even that bad. It's just very, very faint. The only other thing I do notice when I turn my mirror around to the magnifying side is that I do see how on my nose, the foundation kind of just like stayed on top of the nose. Like I see it didn't really sink in all the way, or it's like, I don't know, I can see like it looks a little powdery. You know, like I just see like the foundation didn't really fully suck in there, or it's just kind of like sitting on top of my nose. So when I look at the magnifying side, you see like it just like on top of my nose. I don't know if I'm explaining myself correctly. Something that I don't notice on the regular side of the mirror. I only see it on the side of the mirror that is like magnifying. So that's also another observation that I have. It's always the nose area that gives me the most problems. So my final thoughts on the foundation are pretty positive. I really like it. I love the packaging, and I love most of all the way it has felt on my face throughout the day. I do feel that I am made up. I mean, I know it's, you know, it is natural because it just covers so much. For it to give this type of coverage, usually you feel like you're wearing a lot more makeup, whereas in this case I have a lot of coverage, but I do feel natural. However, I do feel that I look a little bit done up, which is normal. It's fine. Like you can tell that I'm wearing makeup. It's not like I am wearing no makeup. It's obvious that I have foundation on, but it's also very light. It doesn't look like I'm caked up with makeup, which I like. I really only use 2 pumps because I did 1 pump, and then I did a very thin layer of the product. Then I did a second pump, and I did another thin layer of the product. It layered nicely. It was very buildable. I feel this is a medium coverage, but being that I use such little product, I feel that if maybe I was a little bit more heavy-handed with the product, you could probably take this from medium to a full coverage, maybe somewhere in the middle. I'm not sure if it'll be 100% full coverage, but from medium to full there in the middle, I personally like to use my foundation medium. I don't really like to go too much or to cover too much. I mean, medium pretty much covers my skin pretty well, and it covers most of the imperfections. Anything else that I need, I rather just add concealer to those areas, or maybe just take a little bit more foundation and just dab it on the areas that I really need to cover instead of just having to put it all over my face. It's definitely a foundation that I will continue to use. I really liked it. I really liked the way it just covered every single thing, and it just evened out the skin tone so fast. And it was just very easy to apply. It dried really fast. As far as the finish, it's what I mentioned earlier. It's not too dewy and it's not a matte. For me, it's like somewhere in the middle. It looks luminous without being completely dewy. I love doing foundations. I mean, I like to switch it up. I do have some matte foundations, but usually the type that I gravitate towards are the more dewy ones. But this one is not so dewy, but it's luminous, and it's like not matte either. So for me, it's right in the middle, and I was just really impressed at how much coverage. And I think it's like pretty pigmented, that it just covers very well, and it just dried really fast. Like I did feel that it sunk into my skin really fast. So that I liked about it. It was easy to apply. I can see myself applying it with a sponge, brush, my hands, anything. Tomorrow I'm gonna try it out before I go to work, maybe even with my hands, because in the mornings when I'm kind of rushing a little bit, I like to see it better. I like to try my foundations out sometimes just with my hands, just to get out of the house really fast and get to work. Remember, this foundation has no SPF, so if you're gonna be going outside during the daytime, it's important to put on some SPF under it. It also has no parabens, it's cruelty-free, it's oil-free, so it's a lot of good stuff in this foundation. And remember, it has that coconut water, which is amazing, and all those other ingredients that are great. So far, thumbs up for the Born This Way foundation from Too Faced. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video and that you check out this foundation. And as always, I want to say thank you so much for watching B Lounge Makeup. Bye.